Hello, team. How you doing? How's everyone doing today? Okay, this will be our chance to ask any kinds of questions about writing, so I hope you all have lots of fun questions. Any questions, just let me know, okay? Until then, I'm going to get started on recording some SCPs. That's right, we're recording SCPs for October. SCP 97, SCP 2523, SCP 3992, SCP 6245, SCP 6439, and most frightening of all, SCP 7731. None of that is going to have any meaning to most of you. To those that do, let's keep it a surprise for everyone else, okay? Yes, sir. Use that well of pride. Let's confirm their names, shall we? You'll see what I'm doing in a minute. SCP-97. You know what that one was on me? Old Fairgrounds. Great name. 2523. That's Generation 3. 2523. Wait, did I really agree to do 2523? I did. Do I even have time for that? Let me check the calendar. How many days are there in the month? Goblin Market. I have to trust myself. One of the things I do when you get to my age, you just learn to kind of trust things. Not everything you do necessarily makes sense to you right away, but you kind of have to trust it. The best way to trust yourself is to always be reliable to yourself. It's like any other job, you know? 3992. Entertainment Wacky Halloween Fun Masks. Oh dear God, this one's gonna hurt. I can only fake so much enthusiasm. 6245. Generation 8. Can't believe we're all the way up to Generation 9. To think these things used to have a full story. Ooh, this is gonna be a good one. Sweet Tooth Sammy. I love these songs. They get very interesting very fast. Big fan of Greek myth, so obviously I like this series. Okay, so after 6245 is 6439. You know, that was on me for not double checking. October 32nd. Ooh. Whatever. I like October 32nd better than October 32. Any any opposed? Interesting. Sweet. I'm just a man. 7731? Yep, 7731. Hollow won't. Oh god, this one's gonna be good. Anyone here not celebrate Halloween? Well, that SCP is just for you. But when does the comet become a meteor? When does the comet become a grace? Can become a monster when tidal wave. Glad to see that you're watching. Feel free to make any comments you want so I can respond, okay? Any questions you have about writing or lore in general, I'm more than happy to answer. Any questions about my personal life, I refuse to answer. There are things about my life I will not share with anyone. So let me get my drink and get started. Good question, Luna Tiny. So I get my writing ideas from all sorts of places. One of my favorite places, I just generally get them from dreams, or I get them from reading myths or other stories. Some the story of Medusa is actually a great source of inspiration for me. Just the idea that someone could get so hurt and then essentially be seen as a monster. But depending on the way you look at it, it's either her a monster now or a way of protecting herself. But you get all kinds of story ideas that way. And sometimes a little change in perspective is all you need. So it's good to read all kinds of stories and see what you get inspired by. And sometimes I get at, at inspiration from my partner and just talking with them, or my friends, or even fans. Like everyone's got all kinds of fun ideas, and you'll be surprised what inspires you. But I hope that answered your question because I have no idea where I get half my ideas, but I just generally get them from everywhere. Can you hear me okay? SCP 97, the old fairgrounds. Object class Euclid. Special containment procedures. SCP-97 is contained within the limits of the property where it was initially discovered. Zone SCP-97. Property is surrounded by an 8-meter tall concrete block fence, fitted with barbed wire and security camera systems. Satellite images of Zone SCP-97 are to be doctored, removing all traces of the area. Any and all new plant growth outside the containment area suspected to originate from within the SCP is to be sterilized through the application of boiling salt water and or incinerated. Absolutely all abnormal behavior is to be reported to Dr. Bridge within 10 minutes of occurrence. If any personnel or their families experience hallucinations or thematically related dreams outside of containment, they are to contact Dr. Bridge to schedule treatment. Localities surrounding SCP 97, specifically Peoria, and I'm just going to reverse that. So that way it makes the sound look, well, I guess, sound like not understandable. So let's try this. Specifically, Peoria. Yep. You'll see why I chose Peoria in a little bit. Are to be monitored for from the 1st of April until the 1st of November every year for affected civilians. Medical establishments dealing with sleep abnormalities are to be monitored for signs of SCP-97's influence. Civilians below the age of 16 encountered within 1 square kilometer of Zone SCP-97 are to be taken into Foundation custody and are to be treated with a Class B amnestic and returned home or the nearest police station. Personnel tasked with the return of civilians are to avoid public exposure. Each agent is to be assigned a cover story to follow if they do encounter civilians en route to their destinations. See Level 3 staff for details. The morning after the first frost of the year, a team of 25 agents armed with agricultural tools are to enter SCP-97 and clear away the outer plant matter. This process is not to continue past dusk. Description: SCP-97 is a 10-acre area land in the state of Redacted in the Midwestern United States. It is the abandoned remains of the Redacted County Fair 1969, an area of approximately 2.3 square kilometers, approximately 5.4 square miles. Structures within the SCP exist in a state of moderate disrepair, consistent with the expected age and environment. At the center of SCP-97 lie the remains of a 1956 GMC pickup truck, majority of which is crushed beneath a colossal pumpkin of unknown subtype. Henceforth, SCP-97-01. SCP-97-01 stands approximately 7.4 meters, 24.3 feet tall, and 8.1 meters, 26.8 feet in diameter at its widest. Current estimates put SCP-97-1 at approximately 15,000 kilograms, approximately 33 and 70 pounds. That's about 16 tons, 16 and a half tons to be exact. So that's a big pumpkin. This pumpkin remains roughly spherical in shape, instead of spreading out under its own weight as would be expected of a plant of its size. The remaining portion of SCP-97, approximately 2 kilometers squared, is overgrown with several dozen varieties of pumpkins, with over 70 subspecies yet identified, and many previously unknown to agriculture. Many of these pumpkins have been shown capable of growing to enormous sizes, the average estimated weight being about 250 kilograms, averaging 550 pounds. These pumpkins, along with the assorted other crops, grow with, on, and around the remains of the 1969 fairgrounds, creating a maze-like arrangement of plant life. The average height of the walls within SCP-097 is 1.6 meters, though this may vary from year to year. Between April and November each year, the area within SCP-97 has produced a number of anomalous phenomena, ranging from benign to implicitly aggressive. To date, 17 agents have been severely maimed within SCP-97, 8 having died. See Event Log SCP-97 for a brief listing of recorded phenomena. Addendum Historical Note: prior to the construction of SCP-97's containment wall, instances of what are now known as SCP-2171-1 were occasionally observed to form fragmented walls, and at one point a near complete ring of 2171 around SCP-97's area of effect. This behavior ceased following the containment wall's completion. The purpose and implications behind this interaction are as of yet unknown. SCP-2171-1, in case you don't know, is basically walls of leaves created by these intangible wind beings that contains anomalous plant life. So it's definitely odd that an basically an unrelated anomaly wanted to contain this thing before the Foundation got involved. And again, the wall is 8 meters tall, so it's about 24 feet tall, or, a little over 3 stories. The Foundation basically has a 3-story wall surrounding this area, and they have to keep it a secret. So don't ask me how they do it, because I'm pretty sure that would stand out in the Midwest. Sorry, just popping my spine. And now everyone's favorite part. Effects of SCP-97 on children. Yeah, you're right, I might be surprised. In addition to its immediate effect outlined in Event Log SCP-97, SCP-97-1 appears to produce an undetectable signal towards children in an undetermined range. For clarity, children will refer to individuals up to the age of 10, formerly 8. Beginning in early April, civilian children within SCP-97's undefined range may be overcome with somnambulism on clear nights. Affected children will move around their homes, stopping to face closed doorways for several seconds before moving to the next nearest doorway, eventually returning to bed. At first, this behavior will occur only once a week, beginning with only doors on the single floor. This sleepwalking will become more frequent, by mid-August happening every night. If forcibly awoken at any time during these episodes, they will scream for several seconds before succumbing to a degree of confusion. After an affected child is awoken in this manner, the effect will cease and the child will never show any further signs of SCP-97's influence. So basically, if you find a sleepwalking child and wake them up, they're safe. So that's important. Next stage. Over the course of 2 to 3 months, these episodes will become more thorough, affected individuals seeking out each doorway inside their house, as well as those on their household's property, such as garages, car doors, and fence gates. Eventually, they will begin visiting the front doors of neighbors. Beginning in September, affected children who have remained undisturbed during these episodes will begin to remain outside at sunrise, laying on the grass near their homestead and returning to full REM sleep. Affected children may recall dreams centering around autumn activities. REM sleep, as you may or may not know, is the sleep where you can dream. It's known as rapid eye movement sleep. Typically, it's actually kind of cool. I know a little bit sleep science, but I don't know enough to be like, actually, it's normal to go through REM while sleepwalking, and I'm not bigging that right now. So, next one. Between September 1st and November 1st, if the affected children have not been awoken during the preceding sleepwalking episodes, they will cease the previously established activity during the sleepwalk and instead begin to walk directly toward SCP-97's location. They will travel over fields and down secondary roads, steadily moving towards SCP-97. Local geography consists mostly of undeveloped Foundation-owned property, facilitating uninterrupted travel. Upon arrival at SCP-97, an affected child will sit down before SCP-97-1 and begin singing unidentifiable gibberish as music begins to play. While a number of instruments have been recorded, simple drums and pipes are the most consistently encountered. After several minutes, childlike entities will crawl out of the tangled flora or break out of the larger pumpkins within SCP-97. The children will be wearing whatever they were last seen with, most often pajamas or similar clothing. Many of these entities match those children known to be lost to SCP-97-1. The entities will surround the affected civilian child, dancing and singing in a circle as SCP-97-1 begins to emit dim light. The affected child will awaken, normally expressing a great deal of terror. The instant any vocalization is produced, the entities will swarm and kill the child. Methods used are different in each instance, but usually involve dismemberment and strangulation. At this point, any and all efforts to interrupt the entities will fail, whether through breakdown of equipment, sudden intangibility of the subjects, or express violence on the part of SCP-97. After the death of the affected child, SCP-97-1 will split open and the entities will hurl the remains into it before climbing in themselves. SCP-97-1 will then close and the music will stop. Before the containment wall was erected, at least 45. I kind of have to pick a number there. Then I just reverse it so it looks, you know, so it becomes not so easy to understand. At least if you can't understand reverse language. Yeah, sorry. Before the containment wall was erected, at least, yeah, children between the ages of 3 and 10 are known to have been lost to SCP-97. See Event Log SCP-97 for current examples of SCP-97's behavior. I'd appreciate a classic SCP. The Foundation's not sacrificing children to it, and the Foundation doesn't understand what the heck this is. And there is no firm answer on what this is connected to, if anything. Sorry, getting a drink before I read the next part. Event Log. Oh boy. I'm just going to call that date. I don't want to say month, day, year, if you please. Time, event, notes. Oh boy, this one's going to be fun. So what year do you think I should do for this? Because I got to come up with a year somewhere. Indeed, Luna Tiny. Indeed. I don't think the Foundation had cameras in the 1869. But why not? That'd be fun. Hmm. 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 How about 1971? So that way it was only uncontained for 2 years. Do you think that would work? Awesome. Event log SCP-97. This is a general incident for SCP-97 for the cycle between 0901, 1971. 1971. Good. Let's reverse that. No, that's, yeah. I sound silly when I put it that way, don't I? I like it. At least now I'll be able to copy and paste it to the points I need to. And 1101. What the heck? Right, I can't do that anymore. I forgot. Oh, that's gonna make this fun. Let's make sure it sounds right. No, that's, yeah. No, that's, yeah. Between 0901. No, that's, yeah. No. 11:01. This is going to be a problem. I love Audacity, but sometimes it updates in such a way and I don't know what the heck's going on. It basically created a gigantic gap. So it went from okay, I'm just going to stick it in here to whatever reason there was a minute between sounds. So I wasn't really workable. It's just easier to try to re-record this. And 11:01. Now, just let me paste it, okay? See? That's all you had to do, Audacity. That's all you had to do. 11:01. No, this is an abridged version. Please requisition full individual reports from Dr. Bridge. During this time, 4 civilian children were captured and returned to their families. Date 0903. Time 9:39. Event cameras 3B, 4A, 4C, 5B. View child approximately 4 years of age. Walk between the tangles of plant matter toward SCP 97-1 over an 8-minute period. Child appeared to be dragging a stuffed animal. Notes: child appeared on footage during review period. No figure was viewed at the time of recording. Date 9:05. Time 17:33. Event human scream heard from within SCP-97, heard throughout the site. On-site personnel described it as possessing a small child's voice. Sustained for approximately 3 minutes before stopping abruptly. Notes: staff reported feeling as if they were being watched during the event. Date 0908. Time unknown. Event: several bedsheet ghosts are seen throughout various security feeds throughout the day. Would only appear at approximately 1 to 3 seconds before vanishing again. Staff did not report seeing any anomalous entities firsthand. Notes: patrols doubled for the remaining time in the SCP cycle. Date 9/13. Time 22:19. Event: unidentifiable singing is heard throughout the site, persisting for 3 hours before becoming silent. Recordings reveal song-like gibberish with up to 30 individual children's voices singing at any time. Notes: recordings archived for future study. Date 9/19. Time 14:27. Event: Agent McRoy cuts a pumpkin's vine with a machete. Severed vine proceeded to bleed approximately 50 liters of human blood before shriveling. Notes: blood type AB negative. No DNA match. Not quite the universal recipient, but it's always interesting. There's like no DNA match. Makes me wonder, does it match itself or is it just like a bunch of mixed blood? Kind of like the blood oceans of Iron Man, you know? They're like, the blood is human, but it doesn't match any known human. So it's like, okay, so does that mean it's all a bunch of different genetic, unrelated blood, or it's just one that's not recorded, but it's all the same blood? You know? I don't know. It's an interesting implication to me. Okay. Got a little while longer to go. Date 0924. Time unknown. Event overnight, two separate pumpkin patches grew in the rough approximations of humanoid figures lying on the ground. Notes destroyed without incident. Date 925. Time 5:17. Event Agent Long found decapitated, neck against a pumpkin. Notes disappeared en route to a restroom break. Date 927. Time 2:50. Event all light bulbs on site burn out within a 2-minute period. Notes critical areas repaired before nightfall. Date 9:30. Time 12:16. Note event sudden shift noted in the location of several dozen gourd plants. Notes time and nature of actual event unknown. Date 10/1. Time 14:29. Event Agent Cold accidentally damages and breaks pumpkin during weekly examination of SCP-97. Pumpkin splits open, revealing a complete human child skeleton in the fetal position inside. Notes female, approximately 5 years old, no DNA match. Date 10/2. Time unknown. Event 29 freshly decapitated crows, Corvus brachioronchos, found outside SCP-97's containment wall. Notes none. If I mispronounce the scientific name, feel free to correct me. All mistakes are my own. Date 10/6. Time 6:37. Event matured pumpkin plant found to have replaced a potted plant growing inside Dr. Bridges' office. Notes indoor plants banned from the site. Pumpkin incinerated immediately. Date 10/7. Time 16:50. Event Agent Matthews falls unconscious during patrol and cannot be awoken until removed from property. Notes Agent reported dreaming of autumn colors and the smell of leaves. Full recovery. Reassigned to desk work pending examination. Date 10/11. Time 7:38. Event Research Assistant Strom reports overwhelming taste and scent of pumpkin permeating her senses. No other personnel reports anomaly. Notes transferred off-site examination pending. It's funny, they didn't mention if that one ended when she left the site. I'm gonna assume it did, for the sake of my own sanity. If you hear that beeping, my dishwasher just finished. So let's try that one again. Date 10/13. Time not necessary. Event sounds of steady drums playing throughout the day from midnight until 11:59 p.m. Notes source of sound unknown. Recordings archived for future study. Date 10/17. Time 3:19. Event male child approximately 6 years of age and clad in pajamas seen climbing through corn stalks on the eastern end of SCP-97 moving towards SCP-97-1. Notes lost to SCP-97-1. How the child was able to escape notice by personnel until after he was lost to the SCP is unknown. Date 10/20. Time 13:07. Event all personnel within 3.6 kilometers of SCP-97-1 report hallucinations of orange haze and children's laughter. Notes personnel evacuated to a distance outside the area of effect. Personnel screened for mental interference. Date 10/23. Time 0:01. Event: all power and backup power to the area failed. Upon recovery, 105. If you're wondering why I went with 105, it's because it's 3 less than 108. That's a reference no one's gonna get, but I love it. There's supposed to be 108 special people in the SCP universe who just have the ability to nullify any anomaly. On recovery, yeah, awkward or not. Pumpkins within SCP-97 were found to have changed into carved lanterns. Notes: it is unknown how SCP-97 generated and lit candles. Team 97 Alpha and Beta asked to destroy lanterns after sunrise. Yeah, I'm glad you laughed. Yeah, it's interesting this is all happening 8 days before Halloween. Date 10/23, time 8:13. Team 97 Alpha reports seeing and hearing children playing among the flora within SCP-97. Recordings lack the entities expected from the reports. Notes: children noted to be clad in pajamas. Teams pulled from SCP, screened for mental interference. Date 10/25, time 11:49. Event: Zea Maya's Indurta kernels fall from the sky around SCP-97. Does not fall within containment walls. Notes: area cleansed with flame units and replanted with non-native grasses. Pavement of outside area pending. So you just planted the entire area with grasses, like the whole square kilometer, in a day? That's impressive. But if I remember right, Zea Maya's Indurta is corn, but let's check. Gotta love it. It's like corn's falling from the sky. We don't ask questions with SCP. That's fair. Oh, it's flint corn. This is it. Neat. But yeah, it's interesting. This thing has Euclid classification because it's like it barely feels like they're containing this thing. Date 10/26. Time 21:13. Event: research assistant O'Toole overcome with nausea and vomits pumpkin seeds. O'Toole did not eat pumpkin seeds previous to vomiting. Notes: research assistant O'Toole transferred to site redacted for examination. Seeds incinerated with prejudice. Date 10/27. Time 10:03. Event: research assistant O'Toole reported to have died overnight. Autopsy reveals thoracic cavity filled with pumpkin seeds. Event notes: body incinerated at site redacted. All personnel scheduled for full physical examination. Yeah, that's a painful way to die. 10/28. Time unknown. Event: unintelligible whispering gibberish heard by fertile female personnel throughout the area when in view of SCP-97. Phenomenon continues throughout the day, continuing for the duration of SCP-97's cycle, in essence, until November 1st. Notes: associated personnel removed from duty and scheduled for examination. Oh, there's a lot of bad ways, but I definitely think the spirit bomb is one of the worst ways. Basically renders your entire body into an intangible form, can still see the world around you, but you can't actually interact with it, and you can't actually die. And you can't communicate with anyone. You are essentially invisible to the world, and the only way you can communicate with anyone is if you happen to have a phone or something on you. And, like, the worst part about, like, the spirit bomb is the Foundation doesn't just have it in a bomb form, they also have it in bullet form. And it's not just the Foundation that has it, GOC has it, the frickin' Marshall Carter and Dark, Chaos Insurgency, unknown groups have it. So not only can you frickin' annihilate people, you can keep them tortured even after they're dead and keep them from actually dying. Yeah, I know, the spirit bomb, right? I might have to do an SCP about that one of these days. It definitely feels like a decent weapon SCP. It's definitely fucking torture, and it's definitely bad. Well, let's hope oh, King Google didn't notice what I just said. So let's keep it going. I know, the spirit bomb. Okay. Date 10/28. Time 17:45. Event headlights of vehicle underneath SCP-97-1 light and stay lit until daybreak. Notes, none. It wasn't you that said something, it was me. Date 10/29. Time unknown. Event fruit trees within SCP-97 in blossom over the course of 5 hours beginning roughly at 0700. Flowers wither and fall soon after. Notes, none. Date 10/29. Time 08:07. Event pumpkins near south entrance to SCP-97 begin spontaneously bleeding from the stem. Each continued bleeding for 3 hours. Notes, blood type AB negative. No DNA match. So does it match the blood from before or not? I kind of want to know. For my own sanity, I'll say yes, it does. Date 10/31. Time 3:10. Event several dozen unidentified spheres of red light viewed drifting above SCP-97 and surrounding area. When light was shown directly on the spheres, a piercing shriek was heard. Notes, personnel called into the main building until the spheres dissipated at dawn. Date 10/31. Time 1200. Event sounds of steady drums are recorded from within SCP-97. Drums persist for the following 12 hours. Notes, no source identified. Recordings archived for future study. Date 10/31. Time 1419. Event all strawberry plants within SCP-97 wither in unison. Notes, none. And this is where things get extreme. So anyone who can't deal with, suicide, I recommend logging off for about 2 minutes, or at the very least, stepping away. Okay, that should be enough time. Um, I'll see you in 2 minutes if your can or cannot handle it. Date 10/31. Time 17:43. Event between 25 and 30 animate human skeletons of varying size are recorded breaking out of the larger pumpkins within SCP-97. Skeletons traverse SCP-97's flora to the northeast peach tree and hang themselves from its branches using lengths of grapevine, electrical cable, and decaying rope. Skeletons ceased anomalous behavior after pantomiming death by hanging. Death rows continued for approximately 23 minutes. Notes, skeletons recovered after first frost. All appeared under 12 years of age, no DNA matches. Skeletons incinerated after examination. Okay, well, that's done. So, how'd everyone like that SCP? One of the earliest SCPs on the wiki. SCP-097, Old Fairgrounds. Gotta make sure I get this done right. Now, should I record another SCP, or should I edit this, or should I make the video for SCP-97 first? A little longer than you expect, but not as long as recording a new video, anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. We do not discuss Genshin Impact in this house. Yeah, sure. Let's do the edit process real quick. So, I think you're brand new to my editing process. Is that right? Sorry, my Clipchamp opened on another page. I don't know why it keeps recommending this. I don't use AI in my videos. So I have them organized by folder, stuff for the Hero series, the SCP Foundation, and my shorts. So many shorts. So many shorts. I'm not quite at chicken nuggets level, but I hope to someday. So first I start with the name, SCP-097, Old Fairgrounds. You know, right? I'd like to have the name match the name of the audio, just so it's easier to find it. So go down to audio, if my computer ever catches up. Okay, now SCP. And now these are in order. If you're wondering why SCP-097 is on the bottom, it's because I forgot to put the dash in, so it actually moves it on the bottom of the list. That one's on me. That is why you standardize your naming conventions. Not necessarily because of human minds, but because of computer. Yep. And that's why some workplaces just have such strict procedures, you know. Now let's get the pictures. Now, what would be a good picture we have? Here's my ending card. But what's a good possible symbol you use for SCP? Do we use biohazard? Do we use a cartouche? Maybe we use the Garden City symbol. What possible symbol do we use for the SCP Foundation? Yeah, it's easy to forget that. And now begins the fun part of finding an image. So let's expand this. I love Unsplash because these are all unlicensed. You can use them freely. Anyone else can use them freely, but quite honestly, I don't mind. So here's some pumpkins we can look at. I think you're a few seconds behind me, so we'll go slow. While the pumpkin imagery is definitely pretty cool, I don't think it quite fits the old fairgrounds. So what if we tried the name Old Fairgrounds? Yeah, a few. Not quite what I'm looking for. Also, not quite what I'm looking for. I definitely appreciate pictures from Chernobyl. That is not what I'm looking for either. Paris, the factories. Yeah, let's try fairgrounds at night. Or even just fairgrounds right now, then we'll try night next. Definitely better. The fun thing about Unsplash is they try to prioritize people that don't necessarily normally get prioritized. Yeah, abandoned fairground might get us better results. Too bad I don't know any abandoned fairgrounds near me. I do actually, but I'm not allowed it out there anymore. It's a long, long story. This one's pretty cool though. Also cool. Unsplash is real, real good. Yeah, once upon a time, I used to work for the city, and sometimes we would examine old properties. So this property is still technically owned by someone who still lives there. So even though it's an old abandoned fairground, someone still lives there, and it's private property. So while I had to go in there for a city inspection, I can't do that without their permission. I don't know. Do you think this picture works for SCP-97, or should we keep looking? Oh, I can definitely edit it to make it a bit gloomier. So there's a few different ways we can do this, but this one's the easiest. Thank you. Boo, boo, boo. Okay, I'm done. Most recent one here. Reminds me I gotta delete the old ones so they don't clog up too much space. I know about your echolea, so yeah, you're fine. So let's start with the image here. That's generally how I start it, and that's how we'll start here. First, I make it fit. Looks like it's a good fit. Now, if I wanted to, I could crop it a little bit. So if I cropped it, see? Now let's fit it again. See, the Ferris wheel is a little bit more in the picture, but now there's a little bit more space on the bottom, a little more than I like, so try to center it, and done again. Fit. Ta-da! So you're talking about making it look a little gloomier. Here's some of the filters I have. The stuff that's, guarded by a diamond I have to pay for, but let's look at what I got. Orange and teal, bold and blue. As soon as the bold and blue does look a little gloomier. Vibrant, I don't like the way that looks. I don't like what it does to my eyes. Golden hour. That is kind of a fun autumn theme, don't you think? Purple undertone. Also looks, dark at night. 35 millimeter. Contrast. So let's play with the golden hour real quick. Yeah, we can play with the intensity. So I don't know. Do you think this is dark enough, or do you prefer this? Personally, I like it around here. But yeah, the golden hour does make it look very autumn-esque. And yes, I can actually kind of I can actually kind of stack these, but I have a fall one here too. So see? Fall. And yes, I can, or there's Western. So of the three, which one do you like best? Like so here's the one called Golden Hour. Here's the one called Fall. And here's Old Western. Which one do you like best? Yeah, I like the Old Western one too. It does make it look like makes the picture look older than it is. I can also turn it up like that. I don't like it quite that level. Don't like it that level either. I like that. Cool. And yeah, we got all kinds of fun stuff, and those are just the filters. There's also effects. So effects do something different, but related. You could do kaleidoscope, but that's really not good. Smoke is a thing, but to give you an idea of how smoke works, apply the effect and play. Causes the image to kind of come in. Not necessarily a bad effect, but at the same time, it's kind of more of a something better suited for like a PowerPoint than what I'm going for. There's black white removal. Right, I have to remove the smoke effect because I can actually stack these. So I can use multiple effects, sometimes effectively, sometimes not. Yeah, I don't quite like this. I don't quite like what the black white removal does to this. Does it make it look more pronounced? Yes. I don't know. Think I should keep it or no? To the That's fair. It just kind of makes some of the stuff on the ground look a little more stand out a little more. That's what the black white does to me. Then there's VHS. Oh, now you can. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. And then there's VHS, which is classic if you want to go analog horror. Watch this. Pretty cool, right? And with one filter and one effect, we've officially made analog horror, right? It definitely fits with the nature of this SCP. And we can, up the grain or lower the grain and the intensity. See? But I kind of like it where it was, so stop doing this to me. And yeah, SCP videos are a fun little way to play with effects, or even creepypasta in general, because usually people aren't watching the screen too much. Subtlety is nice. Yeah, definitely. Mind you, this right here, just the background image. We haven't even gotten to the actual logo. When the world's crashing down. This one I do like to do stuff with. One filter I always use on my SCP logo, color. Whether it's safe, Euclid, or Keter actually affects the colors I use. Generally, I use, yellow to represent it being Keter, red if it's yellow for Euclid, red for Keter, then I use green for safe. Then I use variations on purple for any kind of other SCPs. This is, however, a Halloween SCP. So, think we should go orange instead? Or do you think we should stick with yellow? I'm not keeping you up, am I? Yeah. I'll stick with the orange one though, because it is Halloween. Next, I'm going to put the audio in. We're actually going to do the audio editing last. Next, I got to think of if I need any effects on this. The effects on the logo, are usually more visible. For example, if I do, say, glitch, up the intensity a bit, and see that? Now I'm on the edge of my seat because it's making the SCP logo bounce. Pretty cool, right? And a good one you always, well, at least I tend to pair with this, either VHS or Vaporwave. So if you do Vaporwave, the Vaporwave messes with the color a lot more. So to give you an idea of how much the color's been messed with, let's remove glitch real quick. See that? Barely looks orange anymore. But I did want to keep the orange, so nice. Then of course there's VHS, classic. The fun part with the VHS, it makes the actual logo look like it's part of the video rather than overlaid the video. Both have their effect, but in this case, I think I'd rather keep it, make it part of the video, you know? What do you think? Yep, makes it look old, especially since we're trying to say that this SCP was contained in 1971. So I think it's a good idea. Thank you. So we got to make sure this lines up with the sound. So the effects are just going to kind of cycle through, which is good. And now I'm going to add the text. So there's a few different texts you can obviously add. Typewriter, circular, groovy, fireworks, smoke, fade, clean tile, title, glitch, double lines. All of these are pretty good. A lot of them do have effects though, so you do have to consider that. For most of my videos, I tend to use mirror tiles because it's here's the title, here's when it happened, kind of thing. Bouncing titles can be fun, but again, a lot more like a transition than anything. I don't use these captions a lot, but they are occasionally helpful. The special stuff, I don't really know how to use, but I know it's there. Let's try the meme text, see if that's any good. So, SCP-097, Old Fairgrounds. Not bad, not bad, but definitely notice that the font does not look like it's quite part of the video. So let's see if we can adjust it a little bit with some effects. Let's try VHS, see if that works. See? A little more on it definitely works a lot better because now the SC since it's got the same grain and intensity, it has the same VHS effects as the rest of the video. Do I like the color of the text? Mm, mm, okay, I'm done. Let's see if I do orange. While it does fit with the Halloween theme, it does actually make it harder to read. So let's see if we can adjust that a little bit. This one any better? It is. A little bit. Still find it a little hard to read. What about you? Yeah, it's a bit hard to read. So I do like the idea of an orange or similar Halloween color. So maybe a bit lighter. No, not quite. Black somehow makes it kind of worse, but it's readable. Yeah, let me try that. I know some of these allow us to do outlines, but something I can do though. Come on, let me change the background color. All right, the hex value, the opacity. Keep forgetting I could mess with that. See? Looks like for this one I can't really do a can't do an outline with this. Or maybe I can. Let's try. Okay, I can. So let's do the opacity at 0 real quick and check the stroke color again. Little much. Yeah, let's do a background. But I think the 100% opacity was a bad idea. Let's try 10%. Much easier to read, don't you think? Here's a full screen example. There we go. With 10% opacity, much easier to read. That's the important part. Again, not a lot of people are going to be reading it, but anyone who does, I do want them to actually get some joy from it. Maybe I can use orange now. Mm, yeah, that's not quite it. Unless I up the opacity a little more. Let's try 20%. Can you feel it now, Mr. Krabs? Okay, definitely easier to read, but I don't know if it's still a good idea. I'm just going to use black. I need to use this meme text more often then, just for the SCPs. It's a lot easier than what I have been doing. Perfect. It's very Halloweeny. And now we get to add the last 20 seconds to the video. This is the part where people generally are like, oh, you can go to other videos and things like that. So you notice I chose a very odd time frame here, 23:54. Why'd I end it at 54? Well, for the last, 20 seconds, it can only be 20 seconds. And YouTube, for whatever reason, always adds a second to the video. So if my video is going to be and at 24:14, then the video is going to be listed on YouTube as 24 minutes and 15 seconds. So 15 seconds definitely works better with the autism in my brain. So I got that going there. And that little ending slide is my EVP noises. So people can actually listen to EVP while they decide if they want to watch more videos or not. Let's play it out last few seconds. Yep, that sound you're hearing is the sound of a candle burning. Pretty cool, right? All that editing makes one video. But you notice we went pretty far because here's the final image we wound up with. Sorry. And let's find the original. Here's the original image we had. Pretty big difference, right? A little editing goes a long way. And again, I don't usually edit the images all that much. Just a little bit to make them more thematically appropriate, or sometimes to hide a face. Not a big fan of human faces in my videos, but that's a me thing. So now I just wait for it to export. I always try to use the higher quality stuff just to make sure that stuff's ready. And let the stuff export, and then we can go from there. And yeah, you get to see the actual video as it does that. Old Fairgrounds. It's a good SCP. It's one of the oldest. Fun little fact: it's one of the oldest ones around, and it's been heavily edited, like a lot. Looks like the most recent edit rewrites came from 2021. So it's at least at least as recently as My Little Pony Generation 5, and it lasted longer than My Little Pony Generation 5. So that's a victory. That came out meaner than I was intending. My apologies. Big fan of My Little Pony, but obviously prefer Generation 4 over Generation 5. Wish I could get that image. Yeah, still a bit sad it's getting canceled. I definitely prefer stories that finish. I feel if I dig, I can find an image like this for the website or the thing, but I'm not going to dig right now. As much as I love the spook, creep, and pester. Spooky, 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 spooky haunted house. Spooky, 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 spooky haunted house. This is taking a minute, but I should be able to record another one. Unless you have any questions you want me to answer. Really? Okay, let me stop my share and then reshare, okay? Can you see it now? Can you see the screen now? That's good. And looks like we have another listener here. Hello, listener. If you want to comment, feel free. Awesome. Cool. So while this one exports, let's see if we can record another SCP. Create a new one. And fun little fact, Audacity is free, so it definitely makes it a useful little tool. Same thing with Clipchamp. If I do generate a profit with this hobby, I might consider, buying some tools. But for now, I'm gonna stick to what my skills know and what I can access for free that is not AI. Apologies, I'm getting a call from Leanne James right now. Hello, Leanne James. Hello. No, it's still going on. I was just kind of like answering any writing questions anyone has, or like kind of or questions they have, and if not, I was just gonna record some Halloween themed SCPs. Any questions people have about writing, such as, like how do they get ideas, or generally like how you focus to get stuff done, stuff like that. It's like I've answered one of them, but I didn't have a chance to answer all of them. But if you do want to participate, I can get you on speaker. Appreciate that. But I will put you on speaker one moment. As I was just telling our guest, Luna Tiny, one of the things I try to avoid, because again, I'm at the scale I'm at, I generally try to use the free resources, such as, libraries, Audacity for recording, Clipchamp for video editing. I try to use free sources, but I also try to avoid AI because a lot of the AI stuff is either little wonky or it generates the information not necessarily in the most ethical way, usable. And Luna just asked, do I ever use prompts? Yes, I do, actually. One of my favorite sources of prompts, and one I often share with Leanne James here, is actually Tumblr. They have an entire blog just for writing prompts. You get all kinds of writing prompts from there. Sometimes you get a whole story, sometimes you get a whole saga, and sometimes you just get the randomest inspirations from Tumblr. A simple thing of you locked your god outside your church that I read on Tumblr here was enough to inspire a saga. Someone's dream about a card game called Mountain actually inspired Leanne James here to write an entire story about Mountain. So that one's going to be recorded sometime soon. Exactly. And that's generally the fun of it is like you don't know what inspires. Sometimes you go for a walk and something you see inspires you. Sometimes you watch an old movie and it inspires you. Sometimes you just talk to people. Glad to see that Luna Tiny is also on Tumblr. I got Leanne James on Tumblr too to post food critic stuff, which was, I think it was a great idea. That's fair. It is extremely professionally written, and it was bad en that experience there was bad enough we are not going to eat there again. So, give some perspective there. And yeah, we can't escape the prompts on Tumblr. Once you get on Tumblr, you can't escape it. Yeah, definitely. I don't know. Does anyone here have a prompt they wanna see me write or just generally think about? Hmm, hmm. My humming is causing issues. Yeah, Luna's gonna think about it for a sec. Like, it looks like I have 2 people on and, like, another lurker who just generally comes on and comes off, so it could be anything, honestly. Mm, extremely. Mhm. Definitely it's definitely a fun thought. Definitely a fun one, and, like, Luna came up with the prompt, and I came up with the prompt too, if you wanna hear it. Let's start with Luna's. You are on a flight, and a sudden shift of turbulence wakes you from a nap. There are now 2 moons in the sky. That's the prompt there, you know? It is really interesting. You could do fantasy, you can do sci-fi, you could do all kinds of stuff. It's like also a good place to go. Here's like, what if you're used to having more than 2 moons? And again, a real fun prompt with a lot of fun potential. And like Luna says, it's basic and open-ended. Same thing with yours, like if money falls from the sky, what do you use as a new exchange? Yeah, sorry. Moving you a little closer to my speaker. Can you hear them better now? Can you hear me now, Mr. Krabs? Can Luna, can you hear the Mr. Krabs? I think they're gonna respond in a moment. But yeah, my prompt is not as complicated as most of the ones I have, but it's you wander through the woods, you find a lost child. The lost child says they need help, but they're scared because they told you they stole something. You find out the child's been in the woods for over 100 years. That's fair. It's decent as a horror prompt. I saw a tell from the Crypt Keeper earlier today, which, as you probably already know, there's tons of different anthologies and Crypt Keeper variants, but this one was specifically targeted towards children. But it had an interesting thing where like a kid's going to a troll to try to get his brother back, right? So his first idea with his brother is to actually tell the troll is like, "Well, by the way, he's gonna cause a lot of trouble. If you want me to take him off your hands, you're gonna have to give me something in exchange." You know? But I thought that was actually the kind of an interesting thing to do. Like the troll kidnaps someone, so you have to convince the troll the person they kidnapped is more trouble than they're worth. You know? Again, it's interesting and it's actually kind of follows a Fey logic, you know? Mhm. Mhm. That is definitely an interesting thing. Again, a lot of potential with those kinds of stories, but, like, negotiating with the Fae is always a fun thing to do in a storytelling perspective. You know, if you actually have to do that, on the other hand, you're kinda screwed. You know, like, true crime's only fun until you're the crime. But these do sound like fun prompt ideas. Mhm. Mhm. That would be interesting. Would be interesting. Very good question. Good questions, good questions. But Luna, you still can't hear her? I have the phone right next to my speaker, but Luna's saying they can't hear you. So that's fine. I just want to confirm if that is or isn't a thing. Okay. So I think okay, I could translate. That may make things a little difficult, but we'll be able don't know, but at least another hour, hour and a half. Mm-hmm. Could be. We could always try Zoom too. Sweet. I'll see you then. Bye. Sorry about that 12 minutes of stuff, but I do you spend a lot of time talking with Liam James discuss discuss ideas and stuff. It's a good way of getting the juices flowing. Oh, what are you owing on? Yeah, that was interesting. Noises, but it does pick up I think a lot of stuff is background noises. For example, if I try to do a moan, it, it filters it out, you know? Should hear me scream. Okay, okay. Old fairgrounds. This thing is still exporting. Jesus. Computers do be like that. On the plus side, I have a nicer mic than a lot of frickin' people making movies on Amazon do. So, ha 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 ha. So, yeah, but I do follow writing prompts generally from, just writing prompts online, especially Tumblr. But sometimes I get writing prompt ideas from unexpected places. Mad Libs would be a real interesting big old blue Yeti. I have a Rode, Rode. So, and I actually have a gaming headset that goes with it too. The mic is off on the gaming headset, but this is with the headset on. This is with the headset off. So, oh yeah, Mad Libs is a great source of inspiration. Crazy, but great. And like, if you want like one fun bit of inspiration, something Leanne James used to do is she would actually like go out in public and just like draw people she was seeing, and she would draw them as like bears or animals and stuff, and just generally like make up a backstory to go with their character, just based on the people she saw walking around. So, one fun source of inspiration you can always do: head down to a Spirit Halloween. Look at the animatronics, look at the costumes. Make a story based on the costumes you see, or make a story based on the props you see. Just think to yourself, what kind of story can I tell with this character I'm looking at? What kind of story do I see based on just how they look like? And what kind of story can I tell with them? Take pictures in front of them. Yeah, I took some pictures with some animatronics. It's the animatronics. Look, I am a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm not that kind of fan for legal reasons. I'm not. But yeah, I do take pictures with animatronics, and I did take some very special pictures with someone very special recently. So, okay, Rex. Yes, I'm a coward. Well, you know what they say when Rex went into the back rooms. Oh, sweet, my video finished. That'll make this next part easy. Look, I don't care. Let's go with this one. Downloads. Deleting the picture because I don't need it right now. For whatever reason, this says, made with Clipchamp. I think it's because it's a free program. Sue me. So, SCP-97, Old Fairgrounds. I'm going to copy it and put a copy on my portable hard drive. If you're wondering why I put copies on my portable hard drive, I have a fear that, oh, oh, I don't actually have something for this. Interesting. Folder. Let's call it Feralia. Festival. It's gotta have that E. It's special that way. But yeah, when Leanne James gets to her primary location, we're gonna see if we can try to zoom it and generally get some better sound that way. But yeah, thank you, Luna Tiny, for joining us. I know it's pretty late where you're at, so if you need to hop off for whatever reason, it'll be okay. But yeah, every video I've ever made, yes, even the bad ones, I have a physical copy of it. I fear I fear my stuff getting deleted, especially in this day and age. Sleep is for the weak. Luna, even Rex sleeps. You respect Rex. You love Rex. I'm going to close this out because it uses more space than I like. Next SCP. SCP-2523. The Goblin Market. If you don't sleep, then you're not going to get the special surprise. Remember, dreams are a good source of inspiration for writing too. It's good for all forms of art. But oh, let me drink some more fluid, and then I shall get ready for the next thing. I'm not telling you to sleep right now. I'm just saying you will need sleep, okay? Again, I'm trying to keep this going till at least 10 my time. That's like midnight your time. Then again, maybe you don't sleep anyway. I don't know. But we'll see, okay? SCP 2523 Goblin Market. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. Annually, on August 15th, Mobile Task Force Omicron 13 Trick or Treat is to be activated. MTF Omicron 13 must begin a full Class W nestic treatment regimen no later than August 20th. MTF Omicron 13 will begin the Class W dosage ramp down no earlier than November 7th and will stand down no earlier than November 15th. Activation may be extended up to 90 days at the discretion of the SCP-2523 project lead. Further extensions must be approved by both the reporting HR supervisor and the reporting medical officer. Again, pretty interesting, where it's just like you have to take a drug meant to keep you awake. Class W nestic drugs. If I remember right, the symptoms are a a slight headache and a feeling and everything fucking tastes like copper for some reason. So, don't know about you, but I don't like the taste of copper. But that's fine. If you don't sleep till 2, we got plenty of time, I promise. So that raises more questions than it reasonably should, but let's get to the next paragraph of the containment procedures. Yeah, the taste o' blood. Beginning on October 1st, MTF Omicron 13 will conduct 24-hour observation of 8 sites affected by SCP 2523, designated SCP 2523 A through H, which will include the easternmost and westernmost affected locations, as well as one additional site chosen in each U.S. time zone. On October 31st, 1 hour prior to local sunset, MTF Omicron 13 will deploy a 2-man contact team into each designated site. As each location enters the anomaly, teams will confirm positive contact and passphrase with each other prior to carrying out mission operations. Contact teams are to be relieved every 8 hours for 24 hours. Ejected team members must be replaced immediately. All teams within the anomaly must confirm positive contact and passphrase during each relief or replacement. Again, very interesting. There's 8 sites. There are 2 men sent to each site with at least 3 teams backing them up. So 8 times 2 is 16. 16 times 3, that's going to be 58. So this mobile task force has at least 58 men just to contain it. And again, each of these 58 men have to start preparing in August and keep preparing until at least the end until November, and quite possibly all the way up to March. Again, it's actually a pretty big team. And again, there's probably backups just in case someone gets ejected. And now the next paragraph. Team members are to attempt to prevent non-monetary purchases by civilians using low-profile social engineering techniques only. In the event that a civilian engages in non-monetary purchasing, they are to ascertain the civilian's identity and origin point and advise the support team. Support teams are to immediately locate and detain any civilians who have made non-monetary purchases. Purchased items are to be confiscated for study. Detained persons are to be interviewed and then released following amnestization, Ejected contact team personnel are to be immediately classified as Class E personnel, debriefed, and quarantined for 366 days at a location at least 50 kilometers from any key Foundation assets. Survivors may return to duty pending approval by the reporting medical officer. Again, interesting. If you get ejected, then you're classified as Class. Survivors may return to duty. Interesting. Let's play that through again. Make sure I didn't mess it up. Survivors may return to duty pending approval by the reporting medical officer. Pretty interesting. So again, it's that interesting phrasing. Survivors may report to duty pending approval by reporting medical officer. Class E personnel, if you do not know, stands for affected personnel. So any personnel affected by anomalies are, Class E. They're not quite considered Foundation employees, but they're definitely not D class because they still get paid. But there's someone affected by an anomaly. So interesting. Interesting. Currently, detention of SCP-2523-1 entities is not authorized. In the event that authorization is reinstated, entities are to be secured with restraints consisting of a minimum 75% iron by mass. Interesting. What kind of creatures do you think we're talking about here? I'll give you 3 guesses. Oh, that's my spine. Hmm. I'll keep reading and we'll see if I'll keep reading and see if you get any ideas, okay? But still, 3 guesses. Description: SCP-2523 is a phenomena affecting seasonal Halloween costuming and decoration stores in the US and Canada from sunset on October 31st to sunset on November 1st. It is restricted to stores which are entirely seasonal and does not affect Halloween displays in more permanent businesses. While the anomaly is active, the affected locations become spatially collocated, regardless of geographic separation, meaning the interior of all these locations are now connected. Basically, they all lead to the same space. Store interiors will overlay were sufficiently similar, e.g., similar display shelving will become a single shelf unit without duplication of products. Otherwise, the entire space expands as needed. Persons entering one location are able to physically interact with persons at all affected locations in real time and return to their place of origin while exiting. The similarities between this phenomena and SCP-1323, including the overlapping time frame, spatial distortion, and behavior of the entities within, and the nature of the exchanges, suggest that these may be highly correlated phenomena. Questioning the SCP-2523-1 entities about this connection have resulted in ejection events. The affected locations remain open for the full 24-hour period, regardless of posted hours. At sunset, 4 to 6 entities, designated SCP-2523-1, will appear and relieve all employees. Entities are diminutive humanoids, estimated to be between 0.8 and 1.2 meters in height, with a variety of chimerical features from various vertebrates, as well as limbs and extremities that vary in proportion. See Appendix A, SCP 2523 1 for additional detail. These entities carry out routine retail operations, except for attempting to persuade customers to make non monetary exchanges. At the end of this 24-hour period, they are relieved by scheduled human employees who typically begin closing the store for the season. Exposed persons will rationalize all anomalous properties of SCP 2523, including those of trades, entities, and objects originating from the anomaly, as entirely normal experiences. That's right, it's a fae. Specifically, it's a goblin. Hence the name, Goblin Market. We'll get more details here, but that's why the Foundation's procedures are so precise, because just like the place that has no name, they don't want to upset the Fae. And again, the forest of which that can't be addressed the same way twice is a place that's the Winter's Court. The goblins in the Goblin Market are a different court. But hence the whole 75% iron content and the, such strict procedures leading up to and after the event. Because Fey magic tends to linger. This effect extends to direct conversation with affected persons, as well as photographs and other direct recordings. This is an anti-mimetic effect that Class W nestic treatment, combined with conscious reaffirmation of observed details, has been demonstrated to neutralize. When a customer attempts to purchase an item during the anomaly, SCP 2523 1 entities will attempt to persuade them not to use monetary means to purchase the item. Instead, the entity will ask for a trade. Entities have accepted physical objects as well as more abstract concepts as fair trades. This has included hair, personal abilities, years of life, children, illegal drugs, memories, and emotions. For a full list, see Appendix B, SCP 2523, Non Monetary Exchange. If the customer insists on paying with money, the entity will, with visible reluctance, accept. Customers appear to have permanently lost the traded quality in all cases that it was testable. Well, other than the fact I don't like the fact they list appendixes that don't exist, because come on, I actually want to see these things, you know? But yeah, looks like the entities will accept money, but they will take things in trade. So basically, they're the creepy shopkeepers in every horror film, from Goosebumps to Tales from the Crypt Keeper to Creepshow to frickin' Rick and Morty. Basically, any kind of creepy shop owner who's like do monetary craft fairs. You do non-monetary fays. Yes, you're a fae. Specifically, you are a goblin fae, especially if you do it around Halloween. So yes, you are a fae. I don't make the rules; the Foundation does. Yes, you're a goblin. Don't you like being a goblin? Don't you like being goblin? Okay. Try getting my giggles out. Any item acquired by non-monetary means will manifest significant anomalous properties. The following is a partial list. See Appendix B for the full list. Again, that phrasing, any by non-monetary means, that implies theft would also do the same. Yeah, we all do goblin mode here. I mean, would we really accept people if they weren't a little goblin? Oh, this one's gonna be fun. Item Prosthetic vampire fangs, anomalous properties. Wearer develops an uncontrollable desire to consume blood. Any vertebrate blood is accepted, as well as the ability to induce a state of extreme suggestibility via conversation, exchanged for 30 grams of heroin. Item: a dark chocolate candy bar. Anomalous properties. After consuming the bar, the subject lost all interest in food and did not show any signs of starvation despite consuming nothing else for 28 days, exchanged for the memory of a childhood family trip. Don't you hate it when 28 days later you haven't had anything to eat? That's a reference to anyone who loves 28 days later. So my entire audience. Woo! This one's gonna be fun. Item: 300 plastic spiders. Anomalous properties. Purchaser was inspired to consume the spiders. Following the consumption of a spider, subject was able to excrete an otherwise non-anomalous living banded spider, Argiope trifasciata, from bodily orifices and direct it telepathically, exchanged for the ability to sing. I mean, you gave up the ability to sing, but now you can be one of the best magicians in the world. But for, an idea what that thing looks like is one of these. Thanks, I hate that. That's fair. Again, all of these would fit for like any kind of creepy shopkeeper thing. Okay, stopping the share and sharing again. Hose can take her. Hose can please don't take my own. Can you see my screen? So it seems like when I suddenly change something, it becomes hard to see. I'll have to keep note of that, okay? So, where was I? I just finished the 300 plastic spiders with any orifice. So, let's pretend that's not gross for a second. That's gross. Item: sexy nurse costume. Anomalous properties. Wearer demonstrated markedly decreased sexual inhibitions as well as increased attractiveness to the opposite sex. Sexual partners reported mild anesthetic effects. Exchanged for an 8-year-old boy. Current whereabouts are unknown. So yeah, let me get you a look at that spider, okay? I'm pulling it up from off the screen, see if that helps. It's one of these bad boys. Can you see it? Yeah, you're secreting one of those from one of your bodily orifices. Yeah. Yeah, that thing shouldn't come out of any orifice. Hold on, I'm getting another call from Leanne James, so we'll play the song while I do that. Yellow. I'm glad you got to the place in which you are. You deal really well with the Fae. That's fair. We're actually recording one related to the Fae. Yeah, it's called the Goblin Market. But basically, it's kind of like that whole creepy shopkeeper trope. Of like you didn't spend money for this, but something bad happens with it. Oh, it's kind of fun. There's like a bunch of items. So it's always fun, in my opinion. But yeah, I can either put you on speaker and we can finish this one, or we can try to zoom it. But hmm, hmm, I think I want to finish this one first, and then figure out if we can like zoom the thing together, so you can voice your participation. Sweet. Putting you on speaker. Leanne James is on speaker. You may or may not be able to hear them very well, but they are here. Lost the visual again. Interesting. There's something going on there. I just don't know what it is. Okay. Can you see the screen? Luna says hi. So last one we went over is the item was a sexy nurse costume. The anomalous properties are the wearer demonstrated markedly decreased sexual inhibitions, as well as increased attractiveness to the opposite sex. Sexual partners reported mild anesthetic effects. Exchange for an 8-year-old boy. Current whereabouts are unknown. So now let's go on to the next item. Decorative trick mirror. Anomalous properties. Entities visible in mirror are deceased persons or pets known to the viewer. Exchanged for empathy. Item. Bag of roasted pumpkin seeds. Anomalous properties. Seeds originate from SCP-97, the old fairgrounds. Exchanged for a tattoo depicting the rank chevrons of a United States Navy petty officer first class. Tattoo was removed without scarring. So, and off the recording, so I can discuss it a bit. Essentially, you have essentially in the market, it convinces you that these are normal trades, and that's why it's possible. But people can be persuaded to just spend money, and if they do, there's no anomalous properties. Still, that's kind of messed up, where it's like an 8-year-old boy was exchanged. So even though it's considered normal, they still could have been persuaded not to do it. So yeah, pretty messed up. And yeah, Luna Tiny has a great point. Not the same sex too. But as you notice here, the only thing is they have increased attractiveness to the opposite sex. Sexual partners reported mild anesthetic effects, so they don't have to be the same sex. But the attractiveness is to the opposite sex. I'm not the one who designed it, so clear implications there. Next is the addenda, where stuff gets real interesting, because that's where we get to interview a Fae. Addenda. Ejection events. The first ejection event occurred during the initial containment on 11/01/1999 at 01 and 10 hours and is typical of all later ejection events. Agent Mugani attempted to physically block the entrance to the anomaly. A SCP-2523-1 entity emerged and asked Agent Mugani to leave. Mugani refused and began to suffer significant full body pain, which increased in intensity until he complied. Afterwards, Mugani reported having bad luck, and statistical analysis determined that he and area redacted, where he was stationed, were suffering a significantly high number of unfortunate coincidences. This condition ended with his death in a car accident on 01/25/2000. It is suspected as a contributing factor in 17 injuries, 4 fatalities, and 1 Category 3 breach at area redacted. Further testing has determined that this effect persists for 366 days. Once ejected, personnel are unable to re-enter the anomaly, even after the 366-day period has expired. So yeah, full leap year there. And the interesting part of a Category 3 event at the area redacted, that's where they keep the apocalyptic trumpet. So a breach there is pretty bad, especially since they only have so many agents who actually know about the entity. So yeah, the Fae really fucked them up there. And now a detention of an SCP-2523-1 entity. Detention of SCP-2523-1 entity. Interviewed SCP-2523-1 entity with name tag reading Bobby Goodman. Interviewer Agent Rossetti. Forward on 10/31/2001 at 2000 hours, MTF Omicron 13 agents abducted an SCP-2523-1 entity to Site 17 for questioning and containment. It is described as having canine ears, a primate muzzle, and disproportionately long arms and legs. See Appendix A for full description. Entity was successfully secured with iron restraints. 3 Omicron 13 members were ejected from the anomaly as a consequence of the operations. Begin log 11/01/2001 200 hours. So, Bobby, would you like to tell me about where you work? I don't work, human. I sell things. Tell me about the things you sell then. We sell delicious things, wonderful things, things of joy and darkness, things from the land of youth, things from the land of death, and things from the border country. Come, buy. Who are you? You humans, always so forgetful. Such a delight. At summer's end, the gates at the border country are opened wide. We have come to sell our wares at this time, as we did in what is your word for the places in shadow that cannot be reached from the now? The past? We are the in between people, the border people, vassals neither to hot, radiant summer nor cold, merciless winter. We are the autumn people. Why only seasonal Halloween stores and not others? Oh, the in between places. They are ours. They too live only here in the edge of summer. Why do you prefer to trade for things and not money? Money has no value. It is only a medium of exchange. We crave only things of value. For these things we can trade in the world. How do you think we get the things we sell? We are the autumn people, not cobblers. Are you aware that the things you sell are problematic for humans? Yes, of course they are. We are a merry people. Our wares are mirthful. End log. Following the interview, the entity was transferred to a humanoid containment unit and was extremely cooperative. At sunset on 11/01/2001, the entity vanished from containment, leaving behind a crude doll made of rough, unworked oak sticks, clothing scraps, and mineral clay. All milk products at Site 17 were reported to have instantly spoiled simultaneously with this event. That motherfucker took the milk. He took the milk! That bastard! Okay, I'm done recording this SCP. So, let's get this one exported, shall we? Go on with your ideas. Hmm. I like it.
It could be something like buy one, get one free for candles. So you can get a midlife crisis with any scented candle purchase.
Joke's on them. I don't need a candle for that.
Yeah. Like nervous, like a customer could like buy a vanilla candle and then immediately drive a rented convertible. I think price for $3 trade for a sudden master like only useful on game shows. So, like someone that gets it like suddenly like like 18th century pigeon racing.
That's pretty cool. I do actually like that idea of not just a take something, but you get something with it, especially if it's something super random like that.
And it actually could sort of exchange for like different things like any sort of thing really where it's like you wish that your I don't know like your existential crisis to go away. So someone goes, okay, I will take that from you in exchange for something else. That whoever took it from you can then go to this place and go like, oh, here I'm going to give you this person's existential crisis, and then they then like disseminate it out. So it's like, if it was like grandma's addict of like time warped treatment only when they're stuck in traffic.
Yeah, oh god, that's great. That's great. And yeah, Luna's remarked that like the goblin took the milk, the cheese, and they've had 3 existential crises before turning 30. So that's cool. I think I like this. They just said dairy products, so I'm assuming. But the funniest thing is like something that's a dairy product people aren't going to think about that they're going to have a lot of around Halloween. Milk chocolate.
Five lattes.
God, the people breastfeeding. Oh dear God, Luna's right. Anyone breastfeeding on site. Oh, oh God, that's horrible. That is very SCP there. So good God, fantastic. And again, I thought it was interesting because it's like suddenly empty. Give me a sec. Anytime it seems like my screen changes, it just stops the share. So the Goblin Market I thought was interesting, especially because it kind of sort of explained the whole trope of like mysterious market, mysterious seller, and like usually they buy stuff that's not money or that they exchange something for it. Like even in stories like The Haunted Mask with frickin' R.L. Stein, you know, it's like arguably Carly Beth still had to pay something because she had to, it had to be a symbol of love for her to get the mask off or, cut off her face. One or the other, you know. Uh, Leanne James is writing. Same difference, face versus mask. I don't know. I've known some people who've worn the mask so long it's become the face, and I've known people who have never masked before, and they can never comprehend the idea of someone not having a face. But Leanne James writing something because she was inspired by what we were talking about.
All about it. Gotta get it out. You get it out.
Got it. I love things like this. While you're doing that, I'm gonna get this video exported. SCP 25, whatever. 2523, Goblin Market. Also great name. But and again, fun fact with it being a public domain thing, you can use it for your own stories.
Really?
Yeah, but I chose this one specifically because it addressed the trope very well, and I like the way it addressed it, you know? Well, to avoid spoilers, the first SCP we recorded tonight was the fairgrounds. So the fairgrounds is basically an old fairground with a giant pumpkin in the middle. Children keep getting sacrificed to the pumpkin, and the Foundation keeps trying to stop it, but they don't always succeed. So the connection there is not direct, but the idea of well, there's a cost, you know? How like there being a cost associated with it. Because like music plays here, people will celebrate there, and yet the cost is their children, you know?
Uh-huh.
So that is indirect, but it is there. Then there's another SCP I haven't recorded yet, but it's basically a Halloween mask that makes anyone anomalous who wears it look normal.
So, so put like a normal put it on. So then what is normal?
Exactly. That's what makes it interesting. Because then it's because again, Dr. Wondertainment created it with the idea of like that way even like anomalous people or like people who don't look human can celebrate Halloween too. And yet the market here is kind of doing the opposite. It's, you know, trying to sell something to humans. Then the big reveal SCP at the end of the month is the fact that Halloween itself is used to contain a bigger SCP. That the whole Samhain celebration and Halloween and the masks and all that is to specifically contain something that can end the world. So,
No.
but it's interesting. Where's like all these anomalies kind of springing up around the idea of Halloween, but Halloween itself as a concept needs to survive just to make sure that we contain something worse. You know, right? Right? It's interesting. I don't know, Luna. I don't think Doctor Wondertainment could make you look straight. I've seen you. You do not look. You would not. That mask would not work. But yeah, I also have another fun little SCP that's just more PSA than anything else, but I like it. It's based on an urban legend, so I think you'd like it just based on that. SCP 2523. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that a guy flirted with you, Luna. Do I have to scare someone off?
You want?
Leanne James can make a call too. We have sources. Maybe. Maybe he was just being nice, but I never know. What color should I go with the text here? I think the orange works pretty well. What do you think?
You know what? Like
So I'm creating the editing on the video just so like the text, SCP-2523 Goblin Market. I'm making the words orange. I think it looks good. So okay. So I don't think I should do a VHS effect on this. Actually, I'm not sure if I should add any effects. Do you think I should, Luna? Yeah, I think it's good without it too. I like the picture I found. This little costume in Home Depot. Because Home Depot has surprisingly decent costumes to sell sometimes, or at least decorations. Everyone loves those giant skeletons, right?
like skeleton.
There's also another anomaly we're going to record that's basically Sam from a Trick or Treat. Yeah, he's basically the entity is like haunting a foundation site within the Levant region, the Middle East, and basically he's trying to do the whole you got to celebrate Halloween there. And then at the end of it, the director is like, look, no one here celebrates Halloween. The closest holiday we have is Purim, which involves costumes and candy. And then Sam's like, okay, I'll come back around Purim. And it's like, no, don't. God damn it. It's just like that one was on you, buddy. Luna saying that the entity's name wasn't Sam, it was Lewis. It's a it's a it's a meme because there used to be a Halloween decoration in Target that was like a jack-o'-lantern that would say like, my name is not Jack, it's Lewis. Oh, he still exists. That's awesome. Can't wait to see all the Halloween decorations this year. But that does remind me, the corn maze is open. That is already open, right? I didn't know if y'all wanted to go this weekend, or if you needed a more chillax thing after the work you've been doing. Absolutely, sounds like a plan. I got more of those pumpkin spice chocolates too.
Really?
Yep, I know, Luna. We'd love to take you here. It's the biggest corn maze we have in the state, and I'm pretty sure it's still one of the biggest in the world. Sorry. These are just Halloween decorations. I'm scrolling down just so we got something to look at for a minute. Honestly, some of the stuff people have tagged these things is more telling than the image itself. Like the ghost behind the screen being called Depression, or the one with the deer skull being called Witch. I do like this moon picture. You like it?
I am like knee deep almost through this bad boy. So I'm like half here, half there. I'm half everywhere.
That's fair. Got a fun little audience thing going on. And the video's taking some time to export, but that's okay. I like to do the 1080p. Just generally good stuff. Makes the stuff look good on a TV. Hey, look, Luna Lewis. This little image here actually used for a poem Leanne James wrote. One about not stranger danger, but like dangerous people. I'm glad you recognized the image. That's great. Hey, look, it's that one forest picture everyone takes. You probably know it best from Slender Man.
Hmm.
Once it was there, it was there. Again, love the Slender Man movie. But like again, they ran it like a creepypasta, and a lot of people did not like that format. But it's not one moment. Doormat.
Oh,
Okay. Sorry. So an object people wouldn't buy. Uh,
outmoded.
okay, I can work with that. Um, uh, a hand screw. You know those Pioneer era hand screws.
literally work on it.
I'm sorry. It's like what's an object that's not available or outmoded? And it's just like even if I think historical pieces where I'm just like, and it's just like, well, no one's gonna buy a wagon wheel. People buy wagon wheels. Luna's suggesting a broken light bulb as like an object someone wouldn't buy, like a broken light bulb. Or, or like I guess there's always a knife with no handle.
Hmm.
And is also suggesting a used battery. Because if we're thinking used or broken stuff, then that gets a little easier, you know? Luna, look. Kiss me. Sorry, I can't do the voice for a while. Kiss me. Yeah, that's a purge mask right there.
I read it. Is
Luna, can you hear Leanne James? They're responding. They can hear you a little bit.
if I send it to you, would you be able to
Oh yeah,
say
if you if you send it to me, I'll narrate it.
it's silly and goofy and probably it's silly and goofy?
Silly and Goofy's perfect.
I think it'll be funny because
It's a
I really needed an item.
That's fair.
All right, it's on the way to you.
Mm, mm, mm. And I also had another idea. A fan with no blades.
Hmm.
Okay, this is just marked as silly. So so let's read this out. Introducing the grounded greetings doormat, the one and only doormat that doesn't just lay there, it stays there, screwed into the ground for maximum commitment. It laughs in the face of traditional move me if you dare mats. Why settle for basic when you can own ground-breaking innovation? Featuring a patented screwing system that guarantees your mat won't just blow away in the wind. Your guests will know immediately that you mean business. But wait, there's more. Not only does it come bolted down like a fortress, it's paired with the perfect broken light bulb. This light bulb, elegantly shattered for that post apocalyptic chic, ensures that no one will ever have to see the mat they're stepping on. Because why should a doormat be visible? Let your guests fumble and trip. It's a conversation starter. And the aesthetics? Unmatched. The jagged glass on the light bulb catches the dim glow of any passing vehicle, while the screws gleam with determination. Say goodbye to your flimsy, floppable doormats. This one's here for the long haul, whether you like it or not. It's the hottest item on the market because broken glass and dark doormats scream style. Forget practicality, choose rounded greetings, and make every entrance unforgettable. I like that. And yeah, welcome to the chat, Kingan. And yeah, Luna found that one very funny. And again, it was just based on the format of Goblin Market. People are buying stuff that's a little weird. a doormat, and a broken light bulb. So, and that is how ideas happen sometimes, especially between me and Leanne James.
For sure. For sure. I think there was one that you did time with like a medical story in purple, and I'm like, hold on, give me a minute.
Yeah, medical store in purple. That one was interesting. But yeah, welcome to the chat, Kingan. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. We got some videos exporting. That's kind of why we're generally doing this and doing some writing prompt uh, kind of challenges, kind of like a come up with a prompt, see what kind of story we can make. So the prompt we just did was kind of based on the like a market that sells unusual items, and then a rug and a light bulb. That's what we did for Leanne James. You want to do this challenge too, Kingan? Okay, I like this. It's a creepy clown with purple smoke. I like that. Not sure what I'm gonna. No, well, no, it's not a prompt, but I thought it was interesting.
I'm all about it.
Okay, here's a prompt I got for you, just based on the images I'm looking at. A family making dinner for Halloween, and the ingredients are just a little unusual. Like that's the prompt there. A little basic, but I thought it would be a good place to start, you know? Like there's Addams Family's potential, there's whatever the heck the Sandman is doing, things like that. Luna's voting a gizzard for or one of the unusual ingredients. Plot twist, not from a bird. So I guess a dinosaur gizzard? Well, not a whole like gizzards are like the part or like the organ that like, has the stones for grinding up food, you know?
Mm, mm.
Most animals don't have those. Unless you're a bird, dinosaur, or a roast beast, apparently. Check out that face. Hmm.
Mm.
Hey,
I
have
got
so Leanne James is gonna write that one a little bit. And let's see if anyone else wants to write a little bit while we do that. So this video is done. Let's rename it. Copy and paste. Could, but Leanne James already working on it. So why don't we work on our own writing prompts here? And then we can see what we got in a couple minutes, okay?
paddles.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a lesson. It could just be a family bonding experience, you know?
Yeah.
You could always do a lesson about substitutions versus following the recipe. Make that a metaphor about life. Yeah, I like to use Comic Sans font while I type. It makes the ideas flow a little easier. Remember, Kingen and Luna, this will be on your test, so I definitely know that there are fonts for helping people with dyslexia while typing. I'm not sure if Comic Sans is one of them, but it very well could be. But I know it doesn't have serifs, which definitely helps. Exactly. Let's put on a bit of thinking music, shall we, people?
So like what I wrote up is almost a prompt for a bigger story, but it's not a whole story.
That's fair.
It's like the start of something interesting, but nothing's really happening in it other than it's the start of something interesting.
Well, so's the Dreamweaver, and that one was really good. Or Mountain. I mean, Mountain did have something really interesting in it, but we were both in agreement of like there is a bigger story here.
On that. No, clear that one in.
Yeah, that one needs a full, like a lot more editing and stuff. But with the Pumpkin House celebration coming up, I gotta put my efforts towards that.
For this year.
And Luna just commented that Mountain felt like a prequel, and they're not wrong.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It could build and grow and weave. I said that to you just as a okay, I'm looking and raring to go. What do we have written in the chat?
Well, I got here's the one I got so far. I'm not nearly as prepared as you, but Margaret wanted to do something special for her mummy for Halloween. So she got up early Halloween night to mix something special for her mummy. She crept into the kitchen where Granny Hilda was mixing something special in her big cauldron. Hilda, with her single eye big and her other eye empty, asked her grandmother, Granny, can you help make something special for Mummy? She asked her granny, who glanced towards the young girl. And that's generally where I ended. The general idea is that she goes around to each member of her family asking for help. Each of them give her an ingredient or a piece of advice, and then she like makes a big, a big meal for her mummy who's getting back from Halloween night, right? I was thinking somewhere between Adam's Family and the Monsters, where it's just like everyone there's like a monster or something.
Huh?
Thank you, Keegan, for the H. I always love the H. But let's stop the music real quick so I can record this. And again, this was just based on the prompt of a family make something a little unusual for Halloween. Luna's got a great idea. Each family adds an organ of their own.
Oh.
Oh, God. This is going to be funny. So the title is Clown Casserole Chaos. And just to be clear, they're all C's. It's Halloween night, and the Johnson family kitchen was alive with the sound. Sorry. And the Johnson family kitchen was alive with the sound of clattering pots, suspicious bubbling, and an unsettling giggle from the corner. Dad, why is there a creepy clown sitting at our table? Timmy asked, pointing at the figure with a bulbous red nose, wearing a frayed polka dot suit and exhaling purple smoke from a twisted balloon animal. Oh, that's just Binky, Dad said, chopping something that looked like the unholy love child of a turnip in a bat. He's here for dinner. It's Halloween. Gotta get festive. He gave Binky a thumbs up, and the clown slowly tilted its head, eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. Now, kids, Mom said cheerfully as she stirred a pot of bubbling green ooze, grab the special ingredients. We're making our famous Halloween casserole. Timmy and his sister Lucy exchanged glances. Every year, the ingredients got weirder, and this year was no exception. Lucy, hand me the jar of pickled pig snouts, Mom said, oblivious to the clown whose grin was growing impossibly wider by the second. Lucy wrinkled her nose but obeyed, handing over a jar with a sloshing pink fluid and bobbing pig snouts. I really don't know where you found these. Oh, the farmer's market, Dad replied with a disturbingly nonchalant tone, right next to the tentacle section. Meanwhile, Timmy was tasked with preparing the slithering sardine surprise, which involved sardines that were still slithering. He bravely skewered one, only to have it wiggle off the counter and flop onto Binky's oversized shoe. The clown let out a low chuckle, plucking the sardine up with a gloved hand, turning it into a purple balloon with one slick twist. The balloon then burst into a puff of more purple smoke. Okay, I can see where you got the clown and purple smoke thing.
Rewritten. It's like,
These are very much prompts. Okay, that's just unsettling, Timmy muttered. Don't forget the shrunken head potatoes, Mom reminded, tossing in what looked like tiny wrinkled faces that groaned slightly as they hit the pot. The piece de resistance? Spiderweb spaghetti. Dad proudly held up a bundle of webbed noodles, each strand connected by tiny, but still alive, spiders, their legs skittering as they intertwined into the sauce. He tossed them in like confetti, laughing maniacally as Binky started blowing up another balloon, this one shaped like a gravestone. As the casserole was nearly complete, the lights flickered ominously. Purple smoke swirled thicker, and Binky's giggles grew louder. Suddenly, the casserole, he growled. Mom smiled sweetly. Perfect, it's ready. They all sat down at the table, with Binky exhaling one last puff of purple smoke. As the family dug in, the casserole twitched, the sardines wriggled, and the shrunken heads blinked in despair. Happy Halloween! Dad cheered, oblivious to the fact that Binky was slowly inching closer with a balloon sword. I don't think the clown's just here for dinner, Timmy whispered, watching as the smoke began to swirl, and the casserole made a sound that could only be described as evil. Well, as long as he brought dessert, Mom said cheerfully oblivious. And with a snap of his fingers, Binky produced a platter of blood pudding with extra blood. As the Johnsons tucked in, purple smoke filled that room, and Binky laughed, his eyes glowing brighter. Halloween dinner was served, and it was a scream. Right? I was expecting the clown to get eaten, but that was me.
What if we don't make it end with Grace?
Yeah, that was a hell of a start. And yeah, it does sound like something good. Honestly, we could do like a this is a weird town kind of thing. Kind of a I forget the name of it, but there were like these elementary school kids. They're like, "Oh, I think this person's a this or I think that person's a that."
Uh-huh.
Kind of thing where it's like the kids are like these adults are weird and like there are objectively weird things going on. Like the adults never really notice.
Oh.
Or like welcome to Night Vale, like Luna said. But again, I am not on that scale. I am not going to fight them. That's going to be a lot like I don't even have a comparison. That's how wide the difference is. But yeah, that's what we made with just those little prompts. I got the beginning of the story. Mother got a quite interesting story. And yeah, and what kind and like Luna has the like each family adds an organ of their own. And Keegan got the H. So and that is how stories happen. Ideas and prompts that kind of just go from there. Although I do like these skulls. I like the skulls. Well, that's interesting. Like I was talking with Luna a little earlier. I don't think I told you this, Leanne, but something that might be a fun way of getting prompts. Just generally going to like a spirit Halloween or something similar, right?
Uh-huh.
And then like looking at the animatronics or the costumes and just try to build a story or backstory based on what you see. And
Interesting.
right? Especially, or you could even like draw them or take pictures of them and like see if that inspires you too. And yeah, Luna also mentions like you could like take pictures of the animatronics or you could kiss the animatronics. I let them know I am a fan, Five Nights at Freddy's, but for legal reasons, I'm not that kind of fan.
Really funny.
I amuse myself. But yeah, I'm gonna try to email this one to you because I just think this one's cool looking. Don't worry, no one's gonna see the email. Or will they? No, they won't.
Like a learner at weekend.
Yeah, they're gonna do something with your organs, Luna. Just fair warning. Should I send it to the work or not work email?
Up to
Okay, as long as you can access it. Penelope, why? So Keegan, your challenge. I want you to write a story or backstory about this character here that you see on the screen. Looks like a skeletal woman in a white dress holding a glowing orb. I see what you can get, Keegan. This will be good practice for you. Yeah, Luna, nobody thinks it tastes good until you actually taste it. I want to work on this one a bit more. We believe in you, Kingen. You too, Luna. Let's see what you can get written. You can either use the skull here, or you can use the prompt of the family trying something, making something unusual. Okay, then just focus on that. But does anyone mind if I put on music while we do this? Sweet. We'll show what we got in 5 minutes.
Person. Yeah.
Are you just realizing this, or
I'm for the best sort of way. Like they're not like I'm a highly effective person, but just have a interesting thought process.
that's good? That's good. That's the joy of things like horror and comedy, or horror comedy and children's stuff. You get to reveal some really messed up stuff. Like there was an entire format of things where it's like, oh, I think my friends and students and whatever are monsters, you know? And like either the reveal is they're not monsters, or they are monsters but they're friendly, or sometimes they are a monster and it's a threat. But all those shades of gray makes it real interesting, you know?
How much time do I have?
2 minutes. Agreed. This is kind of what we were talking about, you know? It really is a lot of fun.
So even if it's our sentence
Mm-hmm.
beginning, so the next 5 minutes you'll have two sentences. Next 5 minutes you'll have three. And the next thing you know, you have a whole story. It's pretty awesome.
It really is. A little fact for the audience, I do tend to listen to music when